What's up, you guys? It's your boy B Mage, the modern day hope dealer, not dope dealer. We back again with the Training for Triumph Leadership Podcast. Hey, man, we got another special guest here, a guy who I was able to meet, and man, it's a powerful force in education, man. I got another man leading the way for so many others that I was able to learn about him, was able to do some research on him, learn about his background, and man, this is powerful. We're about to be able to hear some good knowledge just on leadership, on character development, on overcoming adversity, on just the impact of evolving, the impact of leadership here. So again, I don't like to waste too much time. We like to dive right into it. And I thank you guys for sharing your time with your time with my time and our time and tapping into our podcast here. So we're gonna keep it rolling, all right? So your special guest today is Mr. Rob Constant, a phenomenal guy from the Miami, New Jersey, New York area who's been doing a lot of phenomenal things with his own professional career, with his own journey so far. So, Rob, just please give everybody just a little bit of background about who you are,
Yep.
where you're from, and your current role in professional education and higher education currently.
Yeah. So Robert Constant. Hey, first of all, thank you, Brian, for having me on. My name's Robert Constant. I am originally from New York, but moved to Miami. I always say that. But I went to Tuskegee University undergrad, and for grad school, I went to St. Thomas University, and I had an opportunity to work at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, and that pretty much like started my career in sports administration. So I started working in sports at SMU and wound up going to the Florida Marlins and working in professional sports.
Let's
And
go.
while at the Marlins, I got a degree, sports management degree at St. Thomas University. So that's kind of how I kicked off my career. But I made a really quick switch to university development, which is fundraising. And so I've been doing that now for the past probably 12 years. But I started off in sports. Now I'm doing fundraising at Princeton University, which is exciting.
Yes,
One of
at
the
the
Ivy
Princeton
League institutions,
University. Let's
no
go.
question. Yeah. So that's a whole story in itself. But that's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Great. I love it. I love it, Rob. And again, like that's the Princeton University, man. That's big. I want to just be able to again just recognize that because like that's powerful. You don't always often see that black man in a phenomenal role at Princeton University. So kudos to you, man. I
Um,
give you your flowers on that as well. That's definitely
Thank
groundbreaking to our demographic who's gonna be watching. And again, when we were talking a little bit before the show was that's something that people can not only think it, believe it, but actually see and now can say, I know of someone who, being able to thrive at Princeton University, even in this profession that you're currently in.
Yep.
I love the thought about educational leadership, student leadership.
Yeah.
So, what is your thought so far on student leadership and how it can be enhanced?
Yeah, student leadership is so critical because of that time. When you're a student with at a university or college, that is a great training ground. So the way I see it is, you should be doing things every single day to enhance your leadership skills and just character development from an individual standpoint. So you've got faculty members that you can lean on, you've got administrators, you've got fellow students who are doing big things. So I would say you've got to spend time really developing yourself and your brand and your skill set and just being very involved on campus as much as you can, because it's all great training. It's all things that I think um, people who are hiring officials are looking for, people who
Mhm.
absolutely have the grades, but they want people who bring more to the table. So the more that you're active, whether intercollegiate sports or whether with a club or an organization, have take the time to participate in the leadership of those organizations, and that's going to help develop some key skill sets for you moving forward. I think that is one of the most important things that a college student can do in the 21st century.
So with that, that's so important. And then I feel like sometimes it's hard for students to understand the importance of that because of the social media aspect where they're not as communicative, they're not as many extroverts, and there's not as many just straight out bold leaders. So how can they help tap into the old school
Yeah.
way with their new school interaction?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think one of the things you got to do is you got to spend time putting that device down. There needs to be time during the day where you're not constantly on, TikTok or the gram or Facebook, you name it. You have to develop some really core relationships with people. These relationships are so critical because when you finish school, you're going to be looking to work with like-minded people. You may be looking for job opportunities. If you don't take the time while you're on campus to develop those relationships, it's going to be too late once you leave. I can't tell you how many people reach out via LinkedIn that I went to school with, I worked with my first couple years, or we did internships together. The people who were great to me then, the people who we developed relationships and we got to know each other, those are the folks that I reach out and say, man, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna do everything I can to assist you. But the folks that you didn't know, people go, do you know that person? Nah, I really don't know that person. Oh well, that's how the real world works. So I think you got to put the device down at times and develop some strong relationships. You can't do that over the device.
Wow, that's 100% true. So in regards to taking that step and okay, I'm going to build a relationship with somebody,
Mhm.
let them know just about three of your own powerful leadership abilities or characteristics that they can also start to try to intertwine into their relationship building, into their own personal life as well.
Yeah, one of the things I would say is um, seek mentors, right? But when you seek a mentor, seek someone who's doing something that you believe is superior and you want to learn how to do that, right? So you start developing that relationship with that person. They will see that, man, you have some skills and I like what you're doing, but what you want to do is bring something to the table. Okay. So I mentor people who want to be mentored, but also bring things to the table. So when we're talking, I feel like I'm gaining something as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
And it's supposed to be something where, well, I'm supposed to be the wise one. That's not how it always works. A mentor mentee relationship is give and take. Both both parties are giving and learning. So always keep that in mind that you want to bring something to the table. One of my skills is I'm very resourceful. So if someone says, man, we only got so much time, we only have so many resources, how can we get this done? I tend to go, okay, I think I know how to get it done, and this is what we're going to do. So I'm creative, I'm resourceful, and I'm just someone who just has a positive attitude towards anything. So even if I get beat 15, 16, 17 times in a row, I know that one day I'm going to win and I'm going to keep going until I get to that point. So these are things that you learn about yourself when you have trials and tribulations. You don't learn these things when you're on top.
right.
So sometimes you need to fail. And failure is a great teacher. And I failed a lot. So I can tell you that I've learned a lot because I failed a lot.
Yeah. I have a phrase that I've been really adopting is I'm chasing failure. I'm chasing
Gotcha.
failure. So I'm like really pushing myself past limits, past comfort zones, and I'm chasing failure. Like go get it. Like
Yeah,
don't be afraid of it. Don't shy
right.
away from it, from the big moments, from being a leader, from showing
Mhm.
the world your greatness. Because they're all very, very important things that you have to do in order
There's no
to
question.
get to new levels.
No question. You got to stretch. You
Yeah.
got to stretch. There's no question.
Gotta stretch yourself. So again, kind of to tie back into that old school, new school ways, and which is what I really, really take pride in doing is intertwining old school morals, values, and characteristics with the new school activities, so it's easier for the new school to grasp. Because I feel as though even though it's the older generations or the seasoned generations,
Yeah.
it's we still have to understand that this is the current generation in
Yes.
order for him to be able to understand certain morals and value characteristics that the old schoolers, new seasons, whatever the case may be, previous generations
Yep.
put on, we still have to make it familiar and bring it towards the new school with an opportunity that they can understand and comprehend and be
Yeah.
implemented immediately. So, what are some morals and values that you would love to keep seeing or to really pour into the new school?
Yeah, I would say just having a great deal, having a moral compass. I think that is so important. And what I mean by that is doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
Mm,
And I think a lot of that is being lost with the new generation. I'm not saying these are bad folks. I love this generation. I have a son and a daughter that's in this generation,
yeah.
but I'm trying to teach them that, there are going to be times where you're going to be tested. Your character, the very fiber of who you are, is going to be tested. And you need to be able to say, you know what, with confidence, that's not me. So if someone's trying to put some pressure on you, peer pressure. They're trying to get you to do something that you really don't really feel that comfortable doing. I think our young people need to feel like, no, I have a right to say and to do the things that I want to do. And this isn't something I want to do. It's not representative of who I am. And you know what? It's just not for me because I came from a time in the 80s when drugs was huge in Miami. And there are a lot of folks
Mm,
that I know, I'm talking not associates, I'm talking friends that I know that were extremely talented that are no longer with us simply because they were in the wrong group. And so you've got to be really clear about who you are because you're going to get tested. People are going to approach you. And if you're not with the right group of folks that are representative of who you are as a person or your family, telling you can get sucked out into some world that you're like, how did I get here?
yeah.
So I really want folks to think about having this compass that guides you when things are suspect. You gotta have that. You gotta be very strong-willed and strong-minded to understand that. No, I see you trying to get me to go northwest. I'm really trying to stay north,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's important when it comes to being successful um, in anything that you take on. Having that compass, that moral compass that says, no, 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 I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do, and this is why I'm going to do it. Nobody's going to push me off of that path.
Man, Rob. So what do you tell a student whose parent didn't have a compass, whose
Hmm.
older brother didn't have a compass, and their immediate circle had no
Yeah,
compass? I think that's one of the things that is happening
yeah,
to a lot of the young students that I mentor,
yeah,
college students that I know, high school, middle school. They're not being directed. It's
yeah,
their guardian doesn't have a compass themselves.
yeah.
So that's
Oh,
one of so what would you tell a student who
yeah.
has no compass?
What I would say is you got to start somewhere, and you may not have had it, but you have to seek it, and you have to go find it, and you've got to believe in it. And although you've got some folks that may not understand it, you've got to step out on faith and go,
Ooh,
I want something different. Try to explain to those folks that are around you, I want something different. I want something different from myself. There is something in here that's telling me that I've got to go north, and I'm going to do it. And I need your support. If you love me and care about me any bit, you will help me get to that point. And
wow.
I think it just comes down to love and appreciation of that person.
Yeah. And that's so big because it's so many students these days are just in generational curses.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even their fault. And they stay here. There's parts of them that won out. They won out. And
Hmm.
the curse keeps them sucked in. And people are part of that curse
It's
of pull,
serious.
suck them in and keep them apart because
Yeah.
that's what they know. So
Yeah.
that's really powerful that if you're a student and you want it and you know you want more, you know there's something different, to go seek that knowledge and wisdom on how to create that new compass for yourself and
Yeah.
proudly say to people who are trying to keep you trapped, if you love me, help push me, help evolve me, help get me to this next
That's right.
point. So I'm keeping
Right.
going north. I,
And,
I,
and and to be honest, Brian, a lot of those folks, they will sense, it's like a beacon. You know the people that are weak-minded
Mm-hmm.
and that you can influence. And when you can't influence somebody, you kind of get aggravated. And then eventually you like, you know what? I don't want to deal with you. That's a good thing for you. So there are people who have been in my life who I was like real close with, but where they were going was not where I wanted to go. And that's where we had an issue. And it's just one of those things that as you get older and you mature, you realize that some people not meant to stay in your life. You know, there are some people who are meant to be there for a reason, and then bam, they out. And that's what it is. And so you always have to keep that, you know, everybody that comes into your life is not meant to stay there. It's a life is a bunch of experiences, and it's there to teach you and to mold you and to give you a sense of, you know, what it is you want to do and accomplish. And there are going to be some people who they come in for a purpose and then they're out. And then there's some folks that will be with you from day one. But it's important to be able to discern who should be there and who shouldn't. I honestly think that your circle determines everything that's going to happen in your life. You know, I really do believe that your inner circle will determine how high you climb, whether it is as an entrepreneur, in business, for yourself, for working for, you know, a company. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen, as you said, people get sucked in and it's really hard. But that's growth and maturity. And we all have to learn that on our own.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That was a gem right there. And I hope y'all are catching that gem just now because that was a powerful one there. Rob, kind of to
Yeah,
change the narrative a little bit.
true.
Your I always like to ask everybody, what is their why they are obtaining a goal or going towards a goal or doing what they're doing? And then secondly, people's favorite quote or song and why.
Man, that's that's pretty good. So my big why is I I hate to see talented people um, not get to where they could be. You know, I hate to see talent wasted. I came from a place where I saw so many people who were talented. In my group, my clique, you know, one of my guys has passed away. Um, but the other two, you know, those guys are everybody was smarter than me. I was like the guy that was like, yeah, man, I got a lot of common sense, but I wasn't the smartest. You know, the SAT scores came out and I had the lowest score. But out of those four, I always felt like I would be the guy that would find a way to be successful, period. And I just have that will and determination that says, if I want to do something, I can do it. I just need to commit to it. So I didn't have to be the smartest guy. But the reason why I do what I do is because I want to see young people with talent be able to go as far as they can. And so when you work for a place like Princeton, you're like, well, you know, Princeton is this wonderful institution and they have so much money. Well, yeah, and we raise a lot of money, but what we do with it is very meaningful. A lot of the money that the university makes is we're giving grants and scholarships to young people who can't afford to pay their tuition. Tuition at Princeton is like $77,000 a year. If you from Compton, if you from Miami-Dade, if you from Cabrini Green in Chicago, you from East St. Louis, if you get into Princeton, they're gonna pay for it. If you say, listen, I don't have any money, Princeton's like, you had what it took to get into the school, so we're gonna make sure that you get in, you get your 4 years, and you're gonna have the best experience of your life. That I love. So being able to raise money for that, knowing that somebody could be in West Virginia or like I said, Compton, California, but they're smart and they're like, man, I just need a shot. Man, this is your shot. And Princeton wants to give it to you. So I'm on the front lines of being able to do that. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction. A
That's
lot of satisfaction.
that's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, one of I went to Tuskegee University, which was founded by Booker T. Washington, and one of the things that the quotes that you know that I just love from him is just you know to to just be it really comes down to some basic things, which is doing extraordinary things, and he did extraordinary things as the founder of Tuskegee University. And if you can do a common thing in an uncommon way, that's really what excellence is about. And I'm about excellence. And so that's one of the things that just really always touched me, and I try to live by, because what he was able to accomplish as a former slave, to start a school like Tuskegee and then fundraise and then basically make it what it is today, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why I value him as a founder and some of the quotes and things that he's done. Now, as far as you know, man, you caught me with the lyrics. That's a tough one. I don't know if there's a lot of things I can think of, but nothing is coming um, to mind right now. But I got to give that one some more thought.
Yeah. All right. We got to hit him on the back end with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Sorry about that one.
no problem. I always like to wrap up with speaking to your 16 to 18-year-old self,
Oof,
knowing what you know now.
man.
What is three pieces of advice? What are three pieces of advice you would tell yourself between your 16, 18-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
Yeah. Number one, build strong relationships. Uh, that is probably the most important thing. Number two is don't second guess yourself. Have an inner confidence that when you make a decision, you live with it and you move forward, and that's what you do. That's just what it is. And I think the third is never underestimate the importance of your time. Your time is your greatest resource. I did not know that. I did not appreciate it. I did not understand it until a couple years ago. Time is your most important or precious resource, and you've got to use it effectively.
Wow.
And that's something that I would pass on to my younger self.
Man, so that's good relationships.
Yeah,
That's be confident and
yeah,
always value your time.
yeah. That's right.
Man, there's some gems right there up in some jewels. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And just the whole conversation alone was just powerful. So I'm sure like everyone watching is going to be able to take something out of it, because I feel like so many parts of it is relatable in so many different
Yep.
ways. And for me, if I'm watching this, I'm like, man, I actually can get into Princeton, not have to pay just because I'm from an inner city
That's
or a suburb, wherever the case may be. Getting into Princeton, if I come correct, I'll be able to get in there for one.
That's it.
Like
Yep.
that's like really, really powerful.
Apply, apply. You don't know if you don't apply. Like I said, if you don't take a shot, you don't have a chance of it going in if you don't shoot the ball. So you
Right.
gotta shoot. And that's what I try. I try to meet anyone that I meet when I travel, whether with the book or whether I'm on the road for other things. It's like I tell everybody, man, if you believe you're extremely smart and curious, and your SATs off the charts, and you do some great things in the community, and you're not sure how you're gonna pay for college, apply to Princeton. I'm telling you. But it's not. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy and you're gonna get in. But what I'm saying is, if you do get in, you don't have to worry about paying if you're in a situation where you don't have the resources to do that. So I hope that there's someone out there who says, I was thinking about applying, but I really wasn't sure because man, 77,000 is a lot of money. I
I
would
think we're gonna have to title this one "How to Get into Princeton."
oh, oh, oh. I won't even attempt to speak on that one, boy. That's a tough one.
Also, as before we wrap up, Rob, please tell everybody about your book.
Oh yeah. So really I have three books now. The first book is Hey Tuskegee. It's the first officially licensed children's book about Tuskegee University. But
Wow.
it's a great book about homecoming, stepping, the football games, the concert. Man, it's really about what happens when you get a community of people who have this great history at Tuskegee. People like Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, the Tuskegee Airmen. Everybody knows those folks, but I wanted to make sure that I made a book so that the next generation understands that, man, there were some things that happened down in Tuskegee that was significant. My second book is called Hello Grandma. That is about my kids going to the Bahamas and visiting their grandma. It's really that simple. But the Bahamas is a great place to visit, these beautiful waters and oceans. And, we just talk about all the fun things that they get a chance to do. The third book is about the first book, which is Hey Tuskegee. So it's a coloring slash activity book that's paired with Hey Tuskegee, and it's just an activity book, but it's got some great information in it, and I think young people could learn a great deal. And it's kind of STEM related, so it's a lot of science, technology, engineering, and math. Obviously, George Washington Carver represented all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my three babies, man. My other three babies, I should say.
There a website for them.
Yep. So you can go to heytuskegee.com. That's my website. But my books are always available at Amazon. So if you're interested, go on to Amazon, man. I mean, that's where everybody goes. So
Yeah.
Amazon, type in Hey Tuskegee or Hello Grandma or just my name, Robert Constant, and both those books will come up. The third book is at the printer right now, so it'll probably be ready to go by March. But yep, you'll see it up there soon.
And I'll make sure I'll add it to a link below somewhere so that people are able to
I
add.
appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Rob, and I thank you for your time, man. I
Oh
think
no, I thank you. I appreciate it. This is awesome. I'm here to help anytime. So thank you.
I appreciate that. That message was powerful and definitely one that needed to be shared from just another perspective.
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Hey, many hands make light work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys heard it from the man himself, Mr. Rob, doing phenomenal things. His whole journey is really, really powerful. So you can't say you don't know somebody who's accomplished dreams, accomplished goals, and still elevating, still rising. We'll make sure we have all the links below so you can check him out on his website, be able to understand a little bit more about everything that he's doing. Get a copy of his books. Make sure we support because we heavily big on support right now with just supporting people's endeavors, their dreams, and their goals. You guys, we're going to end this here. We'll be in touch with Mr. Rob for more updates about Princeton, about goals, about leadership, the whole nine. All right, here. Hey, you guys, Mr. Rob, we appreciate you and everybody else. It's your boy B Mage, a modern day hope dealer, not dope dealer.
Oh, that's right.
The vibes. Stay focused, remain humble, keep working, keep working. Last but not least, if you don't have your book yet, make sure you have a copy of your book. I have the link also below so you can check it out. Get your book immediately. If you have one, get one for a loved one. All right, you guys, we over and out, man. Peace out, y'all. Be safe.